We turn to page 204 for Shabbat candles, and I would like to ask Vivian to come forward, please. Yeah, please.
In every beginning there is darkness. The darkness of chaos seems eternal. Yet form emerges, light dawns, and life is born.
In the beginning, the Most High made heaven and earth.
In every beginning there is darkness, the darkness of ignorance which smothers human dignity, the darkness of fear which chokes the creative will, the darkness of tyranny which stifles freedom.
The Most High said, "Let there be light."
The Sabbath candles celebrate the divine power that makes for life and light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat. Amen.
Blessed is the eternal power that inspires our people to kindle the light of Shabbat. Blessed is the source of life and light.
May we be blessed with the light of dignity, creation, and freedom. May we be blessed with a life of joy and love and peace. Amen. Thank you, Vivian. We continue with Mismo Shabbat. It's a song, if you can read Hebrew, page 122. It's a special psalm that was sung at the time of the temple on Shabbat. The Levites had different songs for every day of the week, and this one was dedicated to the Sabbath day.
Mismo Shabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulzamer l'shimcha elyon. Mismo Shabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור עלי גיון בחינות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמחה עליון, ולזמר לשמחה עליון. It was on page 125, but it's too late now. Sorry. We are going to 205. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God ended his work of creation. On the seventh day, he rested, with all his work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, for with this day he had completed the work of creation. These words from a distant time express the Sabbath inner meaning. When creation rests and existence is sure, when chaos is ordered and being is securely launched upon its voyage, then is the Sabbath born. Together, through the centuries, Israel has given itself to the Sabbath, seeing it as the climax of its life, even when it was the climax of creation. The Sabbath blessed the people and received in return the grateful responses of their changing lives. The century changed the people, and the people changed the Sabbath. In periods of darkness, the Sabbath glowed with the promised Messiah's light. To those in torment, the Sabbath brought its healing power of peace. In times of freedom, the Sabbath was brilliant with reason and knowledge. Together,
The centuries, the people, the Sabbath continue to change. People belong to their time. The Sabbath belongs to the people.
Shabbat is a day of freedom and peace, a celebration of life and creation. May it open our eyes to the goodness we have attained and our hearts to the goodness we may yet achieve. Together,
Let moments of holiness enter the world, uniting matter and spirit in the joy of wholeness, as we welcome Shabbat, the days of days.
we continue with Lecha Dodi. If you need transliteration, I promise you it's on page 736. The Jews in Tzfat started the tradition to go outside to the fields on Friday afternoon to greet the Sabbath as a bride. So it's a tradition to sing it every Friday night as we welcome the Sabbath into our home.
Lecha Dodi,
Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Lecha Dodi,
Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom Mevorach.
Thank you. We continue on 207. Now Shabbat is with us. Now we reach out for the divine in ourselves and in the world.
In freedom, each of us seeks a Sabbath of the soul.
Here, time and place invite our commitment to the ancient purposes that are our present hopes. Now, time and place are one, bringing promise of triumph over anguish and despair. And when we shall have gone from this place on our separate ways, may our words and promises bring fulfillment and peace.
May our words and promises become deeds, bringing fulfillment and peace.
In this sanctuary, we seek to free ourselves from the fears and conflicts that estrange us from one another.
May our words and thoughts give us hope and strength.
We therefore acclaim the eternal power in the universe that helps us to grow in understanding and love and leads us to freedom. I would like Owen to come forward and help us leading the prayers. We begin with the Reader's Kaddish 766 if you need the transliteration. Okay?
Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
B'ama divrach yuteh v'yamlich malchuteh.
B'chayechodu yomechon u'chayedechol bet Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman ka'ariv ve'imeru Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach. La'ala u'al me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yinaseh v'yitadgar v'yitaleh v'yitchalal shemei l'kudashah
B'yichu.
אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו Amen. Please rise.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים.
There was silence, there was chaos, there was a voice. A mind went forth to form worlds. Now order reigns where chaos once held sway.
Makes every fall, the law brings on the dawn.
The moon follows a custom path, constellations their patterns ways.
Sovereign is the wheel that orders the stars in their courses in endless skies. Sovereign, that is will.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. So here we see that God's love comes to us from above to earth. And in the next one, in the Ve'ahavta, our love goes to God, goes up. And how unyielding is the will of our people Israel. After the long nights, after the days and years when our ashes blacken the sky, Israel endures, heart still turned to love, soul turning still to life.
So day and night, early and late, we rejoice in the study of Torah. We will walk in the light of mitzvot. They are our life and the length of our days. Praise be the source of life and love, and Israel our people. Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue with the Ve'ahavta. Tells us to love God with every part of us. On 767, if you need transliteration. Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשקטך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וגערתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
It's kind of interesting. It said Lema'an tizkeru. It's so strong, the Z sound. And why? Because tizkeru, you have to remember all the mitzvot and do them. If we don't sound the Z and we have said S instead, tizkeru, it's like don't do it to get reward. You see the difference in the sound that you read, that you make, makes a whole difference in the meaning. At the bottom of 210, we worship the power that unites all the universe into one great harmony. That oneness, however, is not yet We see imperfection, disorder, and evil all about us, but before our eyes is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. These two we have known in some measure. There is evil enough to break the heart, good enough to exalt the soul. Our people has experienced untold suffering and wondrous redemptions. We await a redemption more lasting and more splendid than any of the past. Together, when will redemption come?
When we master the violence that fills our world.
When we look upon others as we would have them look upon us.
When we grant to every person the rights we claim for ourselves.
Once we were in bondage, then we were free. In this first liberation, our people saw revealed the power of the Most High. They perceived that His presence redeems time and event from the hands of tyrants. We too acclaim the power that makes for freedom. We sing the song that celebrates our deliverance from Egypt and all bondage. Mi chamocha.
And you can find the song on page 768 if you need the transliteration. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ve'edar kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Malkutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Eli Adonai ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך.
Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'akol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael.
We ask God to spread His wings of peace over us. We continue with Veshamur. You may find the words on 769. It is said, more than Israel has kept the Sabbath, has the Sabbath kept Israel. Veshamru.
Veshamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני
עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש,
שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We continue with the Amidah. Please rise. If you need transliteration, 769 and on. The Amidah we have three prayers here. The first one talks about the God of all generations, starting with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's the same God that we worship today. Then we continue with the Gvorot, that God sustained us, and every living being, and we conclude with the Kedusha when we sanctify God's name. Yeah. Adonai sefer tzitzach uvi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezoker Hasei Avot, Umeviel Livnei Pnehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah v'Moshiach, Mechakel Chayim v'Chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Tzomech noflim verofeh holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al emurot, Ubido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukoshim b'chol yom v'hallelu Selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. Thank you, Owen. Thank you. So we continue at the bottom of 214. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך. The holiness of this day is not for this day alone. We must make it overflow into all our minutes, to hallow our weekdays. From these sacred moments, hour by hour, to make the world a sanctuary where every human soul may be at home. Oh, we feel at times at the miracle of one another united in prayer. Be with us tomorrow. Keep tenderness in our words, in our touch, in our look.
Praise be the world and the power within that it makes for holiness.
We continue with the song Ata Echad V'Shimcha Echad. What page is it? If transliteration?
747.
You are one, your name is one, and there is nobody like your people Israel. That's what it says. Ready?
Yeah. It's a new one for me. Here we go.
Yeah, right. Ata echad v'shimcha echad, umi ke'amcha Yisrael, umi ke'amcha Yisrael, goy echad ba'aretz. Tiferet gedulah va'aderet Yeshua, Yom Nucha ukasha le'amcha natata, Yom Nucha ukasha le'amcha natata. Thank you. Elizabeth has to learn a lot of songs while Debbie's away, but she's doing a great job. רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ותפילתם באהבה תקבל. Can I learn to question my doubts even as I have learned to mistrust so much that once seemed clear? I pray that my doubting spirit may learn to entertain hope, and I pray to become free to think my thoughts, free to feel, free to love, and free to praise and give thanks for life. May I make of my life an act of reverence, a prayer, the prayer that is its own answer. Let us read together at the bottom of the whole paragraph.
We give thanks for the return of our people to Zion, remembering the pain of her birth. We pray that now and always she may have peace and safety. We give thanks for freedom in this land, and we pray for the peoples of every continent. May their highest hopes be made real and their noblest visions fulfilled. Praise be the strength and love that makes every land and people grow towards justice and right.
Modim anachnu lach. Oh, give thanks that springs will always come to make the heart leap, that your winter ear remembers the summer song, and autumn colors return to the jaded eye. Oh, make song for lucid air of morning, bright blood speeding, life's flow deep and swift, a kingdom of joy and awe for us to dwell in. Together, oh, be glad, for I have come to see and taste the common of our days. We live in two worlds, the one that is and the one that might be. Nothing is ordained for us, neither delight nor defeat, neither peace nor war. Life flows and we must freely choose. We can, if we will, change the world that is into the world that may come to be, as we were taught from of old. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from deceitful speech.
Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it.
Be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursue it.
Loving all human beings and bringing them to the Torah.
The whole Torah exists only to bring peace. As it is written,
its ways are a place of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace.
Let justice dwell in the wilderness, righteousness in the fruitful field.
For righteousness shall lead to peace. It shall bring quietness and confidence forever.
Then all shall sit under the vines and under the fig trees,
and none shall make them afraid.
Please take a moment of silent prayer.
Oh, say shalom bimrama,
Uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ואמרו, אמרו,
Amen.
יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. We continue with the Torah service. We're in sort of the middle of the book of Numbers. And last week we went back to the book of Exodus to read the Ten Commandments. So now we're back in Numbers. I would like Anne to come help me with the Torah. And we'll start. At page 417. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'menshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevorech el amo. Shalom. Avrahami heitiva b'rtzonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki lecha levav batachnu, melech elam v'nisa Adon olamim. Havu godel Eloheinu utnu chavod laTorah. Let us declare the greatness of God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. U'nefar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Kadosh Adonenu Kadosh Shmo. Gadol Adonai Giti Olema Shemo Yachadav.
Lecha Adonai hagedula, vehanepura, vehatiferet, vehanetzach, vehayom. Ki kol hashamayim va'aretz,
כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו לקודשו. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו לקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. Please be seated. Thank you. So, as I said, we're getting closer to the middle of the book of Numbers, and Moses is going to send spies, and I'll talk about it as I read. I would like to invite Mitch Serber to come forward, please, offer the Torah, the blessing of the Torah. What's your Hebrew name?
Moshe ben Pinchas ben Miriam.
יעמוד משה בן פנחס ומרים לכבוד התורה.
Baruch hu Adonai Amorach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Amorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור. And God spoke to Moses saying, שלח לך אנשים, that's the name of the Torah portion, שלח לך אנשים ויתו את ארץ כנען אשר אני נותן לבני ישראל. Send people so they should go tour the land of Canaan that I am giving to the children of Israel. איש אחד למטה אבותיו תשלחו, כל נשיא בהם. So one person from each tribe, that's what he said. וישלח אותם משה ממדבר פרן על פי אדוני, כולם אנשים ראשי בני ישראל המה. So Moses listened to God and he sent them from the desert of Paran according to God's words. All of them were the heads of the tribes. ואלה שמותם, and these are the names, and I'm going to skip the names and go to there. So ויקרא משה ליהושע בן נון, יהושע, וישלח אותם משה לתור את ארץ כנען. So Moses chose them and he talked to Joshua. And what did he say? עלו זה בנגב ועליתם את ההר וראיתם את הארץ, מה היא? ואת העם היושב עליה, החזק הוא הרפה, המעט הוא עם רב, ומה הארץ אשר הוא יושב בה? הטובה היא עם רעה, ומה הערים אשר הוא יושב בהנה? המחניים במבצרים, ומה הארץ השמנה היא עם רזה, היש בעץ עם עין. Okay, so I read a lot. He told them to go and look exactly what they see. If it's a good land, who are the people? If they're strong, if they're weak, if they're and the cities, are they fortified or not? Is it really a land of milk and honey? So everything, ולקחתם מפרי הארץ והימים ימי ביקורי ענבים. So, and he wanted them to take some sample from the fruit of the land. And this was the time when they reaped the crop of the vines. So, make it short, I will talk about it later. Yeah, there's a lot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And you know what? Yeah. Okay, please rise. Thank you. Yeah. B'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael miyad Adonai b'yad Moshe. Okay. Please be seated. Thank you. Ooh. So now I'm going to offer the Haftarah blessings and some reading from the book of Joshua. And usually the Haftarah comes to complete and complement the message of the Torah. How did it come about? There was a time that the Jews were not allowed to read from the Torah at all. So the rabbis found a clever way to teach it through the writing of the prophets and the judges, and that became an integral part of the Shabbat service. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit. As I said, it was from the book of Joshua, who became the successor of Moses, and the whole story takes place about I would say 3,200 years ago. Both of the Torah and the Haftarah talk about spies that were sent to explore the land of Israel that was destined to be occupied by the Israelites. In the Torah portion, Joshua is one of the 12 spies, he and Caleb. And in the Haftarah, he was, as I said, the successor in the leadership of the people. He follows his mentor's example, but the new mission turned out to be quite different. So he sent two spies who come to the house of Rahab. It was kind of close to the border. She was a prostitute, and she helped hide them because the king of Jericho heard about them and he wanted to question them. But she decided that she knew that that God is on their side, and she wanted to protect them. And in return, she asked, when they conquered the land that God promised to the Jewish people, she said they should save her family. And indeed, that's what happened. They told her to put red ribbons on the windows so they'll know which one was their family. So they managed to escape because of her and return to Joshua, and that's the story. So I'm just going to offer again just a few verses. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה ודבריהם הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ומשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. Amen. וישלח יהושע בן נון מן השיטים 2 אנשים מרגלים חרש לאמור לכו ראו את הארץ ואת יריחו וילכו ויבואו בית אישה זונה ושמה רחב וישכבו שמה ויאמר למלך יריחו לאמור הנה אנשים באו הנה הלילה מבני ישראל לחפור את הארץ וישלח מלך יריחו אל רחב לאמור הוציא האנשים הבאים אלייך אשר באו לביתך כי לחפור את כל הארץ באו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם צור כל העולמים צדיק בכל הדורות האל הנאמן האומר ועושה המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת amen. We continue with Mismo Shabbat, a prayer for healing, and there are so many people who need the prayers, so I would ask you to offer any names that you have in mind that you want us to pray for.
Marshall Geiselman,
Nathan Stein,
Brenda Boston,
Jerry Ashmore,
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving.
Yes, Paul.
Bill Kaminsky,
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia Davis.
Tanya Evans.
Jackie Leaving.
I'll add a few names. Buzz and Butch Eisenberg, Jacob Masuda, Audrey Baker, Terry Kreloff, Beth Goldman, Jeff Safran. I know that Dave just had surgery, so Dave and Jill, Lorna Fortino, Judith and George Zabrickas. I had Sylvia Sue Heisler, Babs Meza, Mary Raphael. Poor guy, he was supposed to have bar mitzvah this week. He got COVID, so instead of bar mitzvah, yeah, that's what happened. Loretta Rebecca Cano, Rhonda Philsborn, and Ben Plotkin. Mismo Shabbat, if you have it on 449 or the inside front cover of your book.
Mismo Shabbat Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen. Mismo Shabbat Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We now return the Torah to the ark. We turn to page 423. Please rise. Odo al Erev Shabbat, Vayalem Be'avot, Tehillah lechol Chasidam, Yisrael Avdo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 424. The Torah of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul.
The teaching of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
The precepts of the Lord are right, delighting the mind.
The mitzvah of the Lord is clear, giving light to the eyes.
The word of the Lord is pure, enduring forever.
The judgments of the Lord are true and altogether just.
Behold, the good doctrine has been given you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Together, help us to return to you, O Lord.
Then truly shall we return. Renew our days as in the past.
Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Shuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Thank you. Please be seated. I just want to go back a little bit because I didn't read the whole Torah portion, of course, just to tell you a little bit because it's going to connect to my speech. So 12 spies were sent. They gave different story of what they saw, and some scared the people and some encouraged them, and that's where we come from, okay? So imagine it is Sunday morning and you go to a museum with friends to look at the famous picture. During a discussion afterwards, you realize that each of you saw something different. Then you go home with your friends and turn on the TV, and what do you want? You watch breaking news of what's going on. You listen to commentators discussing an event, and each of you hears something completely different. How can that be? In our Torah portion, we read about how the 12 spies, each representing a tribe of Israel, who were sent to scout the land of Israel before entering it. They were told to investigate the cities, the people, the soil, the forest, and bring back some of the fruit of the land. They returned after 40 days, and 40 is a famous number in the Bible. 10 of them reported that the land was fruitful, but the cities and the countryside were filled with powerful warriors. The Torah portion says that and I'm quoting, it is one that eats up its inhabitants. And we looked like grasshoppers comparing to them. That's what the 10 people said. They scared the people with the description of the giants who dwelt there. And suddenly the crowd started shouting, "Let us go back to Egypt." However, 2 of the 12 spies, Caleb and Joshua, saw something else and delivered a different message. They urged the people to go into the land with God's help. They also brought a cluster of grapes and gathered some pomegranates and figs upon their return to show that it was indeed a land of milk and honey. Caleb and Joshua may have been the first Jewish intelligence officer, the beginning of a long tradition that continues today in Israel with the amazing exploits of the Mossad and Israel's military intelligence. So what lesson can we learn from Caleb and Joshua and their mission to seek out the truth about the land of Israel? And how can we apply those lessons to recent events? As you can imagine, during the 11 days of fighting between Israel and Hamas, Bob and I were glued to the television and reading the newspapers. We were worried about our family and friends, and we were concerned about the state of Israel. After spending hours looking at both the American media and the Israeli media, you would have thought we were living in 2 different worlds. While there was some fair and objective reporting in the American media, there was also a lot of misinformation. More importantly, there was a failure of the American media to provide any context for understanding these events. Watching Israeli television, it was clear to us that Israel was under attack from terrorist organizations that are dedicated to the destruction of Israel. Watching American television and reading American newspaper, that was not so clear. Commentators in American media repeatedly used the phrase "another cycle of violence," which didn't explain anything. In fact, it created a sense of moral equivalency between Israel and Hamas. Social media was even worse. Now, to be clear, although we are on Facebook, Bob and I don't have Twitter accounts. And until recently, we didn't even know what TikTok was other than the sound that the clock makes. Yeah. However, the reports that were heard from young American Jews about what they encountered on these social media platforms were shocking. The amount of anti-Israel, anti-Semitic posts was very difficult for these young American Jews to see and hear. So what is our role as American Jews in all this? Now, as you know, I don't talk politics, and I'm certainly not going to tell you which American news source to get your news from. The one exception I make is that I will always call on you to support Israel, as it is the homeland of the Jewish people. And that support always has been and always should be a bipartisan issue. However, I ask you to take a lesson from the story of Caleb and Joshua. Go see the situation in Israel for yourself and then make up your own mind. Don't let someone else tell you what to think. Now, that may sound as my first promotion of our next trip to Israel. And actually it is. God willing, next summer we'll be going on our Temple Israel trip to Israel. However, you don't have to wait for an Israel trip to learn about what's going on in Israel. In addition to your regular American news source, I urge you to also look at Israeli news sites to get information about what's going on in Israel. There is no shortage of English language Israeli newspapers that you can go to online. The Jerusalem Post, the Time of Israel, these are excellent newspapers that provide a wide variety of opinions. There's also a 24-hour English language television news site called ILTV. My son Dan is a regular commentator, by the way, on this in this program. And by the way, on the 27th of this month, Dan will be speaking via Zoom to the community here and in South Bend. You'll get notice about it. So why is it important? The Talmud says, "Kol Yisrael arevim ze lazeh." All Israel are responsible for each other, and the Torah commands us, "Lo ta'amod." Do not stand idly by while your brothers bleed. So when terrorist organizations are firing thousands of rockets at our Jewish brothers and sisters in Israel, and my grandkids, by the way, we should not stand idly by. As Americans, we should stand up for what's important, American ally, and the only democracy in the Middle East. As Jews, we should stand up for our people when they are under attack. We have a responsibility to be informed so that we can take action to help inform others. So on this Shabbat, when we read Parshat Shlach Lecha, let us all be like Caleb and Joshua. Let us see what is happening in Israel for ourselves. Remember, Caleb and Joshua were a minority, just 2 out of 12, and yet they changed the course of history. And you can too. In the meantime, on Sunday, God willing, Bob and I are going to Israel, and we look forward to sharing those experiences with you on our return. Shabbat Shalom. Announcement. I'll let Elizabeth make the announcements.
Shoshana did mention that we are going to be co-sponsoring with the Federation of St. Joseph Valley in South Bend, with our federation here in Northwest Indiana, and our Temple Israel, a Zoom meeting with Dan Pfefferman on the latest in what's going on in Israel and anything Judaism, because he has another. He
wrote another. Yeah, he published another book, and he just came back from the UAE. Another tour, another trip, yeah. So he has a lot to say.
There will be a flyer going out and how to sign up, and I think Bob is going to be helping with coordinating that, or it'll be going through the South Bend Federation is doing all that part of it. So that's a wonderful event to look forward to. All of you who are at home watching on YouTube, and for those who will watch it later, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So when we hit 100 subscribers, we can actually name it Temple Israel. We can put a name to it instead of having all these numbers after it, and it'll be a lot easier for people to find. And it's a lot easier for me to put in social media and stuff. It's just as YouTube, the website, and Temple Israel Valpo. So that's number one. So if you're at home, please click subscribe. Also, we're having a new Facebook page that is just coming out. There was an old Facebook page, but it was more of a just a location for people to just say they were here. It wasn't an official Facebook page. So it's Temple Israel Valparaiso. And right now it's going to be a placeholder for some information and for people to find us, because we're getting a lot of inquiries for new membership here. Mm-hmm. A lot. I mean, I'm getting a call at least once a week for a membership. I have a call today, or this last week, from a family of 5 with 2 kids that would be in our Sunday school. And so we're getting another family. We have a lot of inquiries coming in. So, and so when you see people in, please talk to people and let them know you're here. And so that's our YouTube and other social media, and our website is going to be gradually be updated. Also, I hope you noticed when you walked in that we have new paint on our building. The painter's been working all week, and so the paint is around. We're no longer pink. We're in a neutral tan beige color, but we're no longer pink. And we're also having some other work done on that. So your donations at work on the building to help preserve the wood on the outside. There will be a survey going out in the next week on ways for you to become active in the temple, social, spiritual, educational, and volunteer. And we're just getting a survey of all of what your needs are, what you want from us, and we're going to try and just a new thing that we're going to start as a result of people talking to me is we're going to be starting lunch with the rabbi on Wednesday, July 9th here at noon in the temple. Bring your lunch, ask any questions so you have our wonderful rabbi to talk with. And then afterwards, we've also had inquiries about brushing up on your Hebrew so you can read the prayers in the prayer book. So she is going to be available for working with Hebrew brush up. Hey, 2 years ago, I didn't know how to read one symbol. So I'm living proof working with our rabbi every week. And here I am. So if I can do it, you can do it. So that's another wonderful activity for us to have. And we have so many other things.
By the way, I'm available. If you want to meet me one-on-one, just let me know. I'll be happy to.
Yeah, it's Wednesdays is her day usually here at Temple. Also, volunteers for Oneg for the summer. We're not signing up people, but if you'd like to volunteer, please let me know. The last 2 times have been from the ladies of the board. Thank you. And Sue Heiser. Oh my gosh, she's been baking like crazy. So we have stuff out today. So if you want to help volunteer, let me know. We have guidelines for COVID and all that, for eating, and we'll be eating outside while the weather is nice. So thanks for that. July 23rd picnic. Picnic, eating dinner beforehand, children's service, but family. I'm going to call this family, everyone, all temple get together, but we're going to do it an hour earlier so the kids can be here, have food at 5. We're not sure how that's going to work, and whether it's bring your own food or how that's going to work, and then service at 6 for the kids. So it can be earlier, and we can also then do more socializing afterwards. So more information coming for that. And also want to thank Linda Brown for donating the tefillin that was from her family. On Sunday morning, we have Shachrit service every Sunday. We have usually a minyan gathering here on Sunday mornings, and the men wear tefillin, but not everybody has one or can afford to have one. So we've had 1 or 2 that have been loaned to us. And so this will go to great use for someone that was going to be able to use it during Sunday morning Shachrit, because it's a very special service. It's 9:00 here every Sunday morning, followed by Torah study right in here. And did I leave anything else? Jonathan Greeters? Well, yeah, we can't hear you.
Well, in July, your father is coming, right?
Yeah.
All right, you might want to tell me.
That was good. It's okay, I don't need to see you. Thank you. Excuse the mask. All right, for the temple greeters, we are putting the call out for volunteer greeters now so that we can all be up to speed by the time the high holidays come, and we have lots and lots of people who wander in and go, I haven't been here all year, what do I do? And we can help them find a seat, find a machzor or prayer book, and we can help them understand when to stand or when to sit or where the bathroom is or where the water is. That's what greeters do, and we need as many people as we can get. We have a loving, warm, inviting congregation, and everybody who comes here has told me that, and we want to make sure that they feel that from the minute they walk in the door. I also want to say that the greeters are under the auspices of the Safety and Preparedness Committee, and Ken Brown, he's the head of it. Without him, it wouldn't have gotten to where we are. Thank you.
We wouldn't have been open this last year without the safety and preparedness. Well, first of all, with Shoshana, with our rabbi saying, we are going to be open, so make it happen. And so the Safety and Preparedness Committee is, and along with the board, we just made sure we were open. So I'm sure I'm leaving off something. The newsletter has a lot of information, and you'll be getting more stuff from me. And I thank you for this time.
Wonderful.
Was there anything else? I'm trying to think.
Thank
Was there
you.
anything else? Oh, there's something I know I'm missing. Oh, Rosh Hashanah. You may not think
It's very early.
it's coming on the day on Labor Day on sundown on Labor Day. So plan accordingly. Don't be shocked and go, oh my gosh, it's already here. So
Well, it's
We will be
always the first of Tishrei, so it doesn't matter. We turn to page 615 for Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu לשמר החלון הכל, לתת גדולה בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמקומות האדמה, שלא שריתם בלעדיהם, וגורלנו יבוא המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלך המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך לכל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please remain standing. We turn to page 628 before the Kaddish. We recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. So tonight, we remember Rose Brown, grandmother of Ken Brown, Isidore Lazarus, father of Vivian Kokar, Iris Miller, Clarence Moshkatil, Dora Narter, Patricia Peters, Belle Rusakov, Dorothy Annis, mother of Paul Annis. We also remember Carl Era, Hyman Magid, Irvin Michelson, Marjorie Robinson, Naftali Wilbur, Elaine Weinerman, and Jack Weinerman. The memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we praise God and pray for God's coming kingdom. The Kaddish is on 629. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא תברח יראותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי וקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עם ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say amen. We will conclude with the song Lo Yisa Goy El Goy Cherev, which is on page 700 and something.
And 48.
Which one?
Oh wait, 748.
48, okay. Song number 32, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, nor ever again shall they train for war.
You have a question? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. Shabbat Shalom. We'll have Kiddush over there, so join us. Oh, you want to do it here or there?
Ladies and gentlemen, one last announcement really quick. Coming in July, my father, Rabbi Baruch Kohan, will be here. He is a Talmud Chacham, and he will be conducting the Sunday morning Torah study. So he will be our visiting scholar in residence for the month of July. He gets here for the end of July. He gets here on the 13th, leaves on the 28th. And,
We look forward. We look forward to having him.
You'll have a lot of fun. It's good. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's do the Kiddush.